compa. Okay, so it was just, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 streams ago that we were talking about AI bullshit, and here we are doing it again. And I have this sneaking suspicion this probably won't be the last time that we talk about AI bullshit. It's almost as if it's a disease that is now infesting the world. It's a pandemic, but not one of the heart and lungs. Like, let's just get this out of the way. I'm gonna play this fucking clip every fucking time that we talk about AI.
But at a certain point, if the tool is just doing everything for you, you are not an artist.
So, let's get to today's topic. Let me introduce you to our antagonist in the story. We have Morte Eternal. Welcome, Morte Eternal. Here is his first introduction on RM Web. He says, I'm new here, as you probably all know. I work with Paint.net and Audacity, let's keep that one in mind, to create all of my content. Let's keep that one in mind. This man, Morte Eternal, did come into RPG Maker Web, as well as, actually, it turns out, we uncovered kind of a lot of different game engines. He even went into the Unreal forums as well to peddle his garbage. I will admit that I didn't actually suspect it was AI. Basically, he does claim to have 20 years of experience in music, but either way, I had some suspicions that some things were weird, especially with the frequent use of AI art, but as I listened more and more to stuff, I actually was not entirely convinced that it was AI. But one thing that he did do is that he frequently and quite quickly was releasing music at a rapid rate, which is impressive for a real musician. His songs were so simple in nature that I was just like, I don't know, you could just, I don't know, doodle some shit out on a piano and make it sound emotional. Throw on some reverb. He had like 3 threads going for his music on RM Web, and he was like updating them basically daily. It got on my nerve. A lot of this stuff kind of came to a head thanks to Reddit. In particular, it was a user called Turtlebox, I think. You may notice there's some gaps in some information here. Like some things are kind of missing, kind of deleted, kind of like they don't exist anymore. And that's because the dude scrubbed himself from the internet. You know, as you do when you're innocent. As one does when you're an innocent party, you scrub every trace of yourself from the internet. We all know that's what innocent parties do. Of course, 100%. He was so full of himself. He believed He believed the lie himself. He believed his own lie. So much so that he was willing to basically expose himself. He didn't have to do this. This was his undoing right in front of you. Right here, you have this Reddit post where the dude basically challenges him for $1,200. Prove to Mr. Turtlebox here that his music is not AI. And so, Morte Eternal took the bait. Why the fuck would you record this video if you're trying not to get caught? He fucking ruined himself, the moron! But I think we're all thankful that he is such a moron because he fucking showed himself red-handed. He recorded this himself. It was a video where he goes into Audacity, he opens up the fucking plugin, types in something, presses enter, and it says AI is now generating your song. It is right on the screen. And you're saying, no, but it's not AI. Well, what does he call it? What does he call it? Let me show you. My compositions are crafted using Audacity. Enhanced by custom digital fusion plugins that I developed myself. That is a lie. Leveraging OpenVino, that's what you're using, not plugins you developed yourself. direct builds, and the IE Core API. These advanced tools significantly boost my creative workflow. Additionally, I am proficient with a variety of DAWs, including Pro Tools, Logic X, FL Studio, Ableton, and GarageBand, and more, as I'm certain you are. All of my artwork is created using Paint.net, you liar, and Adobe Photoshop. Again, lying. My SoundCloud account featuring numerous tracks was launched on August 16th, 2024. Okay, here's something I just realized reading his list of DAWs, and interestingly, he includes Logic. Actually, does this show right here? Oh boy, it does! What's this? What am I talking about? Why, those look like Windows buttons. Those are Windows buttons. Also, by the way, down there's the obvious Windows icon, right there. But anyways, however, he does claim that he used these custom Digital Fusion plugins and scripts. So he says, writing my own code and placing where the music goes is Digital Fusion, not just a prompt saying, create an epic symphony. I have access to over 22 gigs of sounds and instruments. I am not sure what he means by that. Yeah, so here he talks about he writes his own code. Okay, yeah, here he goes into it a little bit more. 20 years of digital music experience with various DAWs, OpenVino, direct builds, 22 gigs of library. Who knows what the fuck that means? Because in the music space, like with VSTs and libraries, 22 gigs is fucking nothing. IE Core API and a custom script system that I built with C++. I created music as a hobby for years, though I didn't care to share anything until August this year. Sus. We never saw definitive proof of any of this. He would often be very cagey about this stuff. He would claim that it was basically proprietary, so he couldn't really share it with anyone. You can kind of see some of his code back here. One of my boots on the ground people also is familiar with programming and said that there's a lot of things here. I think it's this STD code that's basically just kind of sending a log message, and this string here. We have no verification if there's another layer that may be reading the strings that are going out to the log, but in a normal like programming environment, this would just be sent to like your debug log, and that's it. It's not serving any function other than telling you stuff. We didn't really see him interact with the code at all. There is a possibility that there is some truth to what he is saying. What I would say as a rebuttal to that, if that is true, let's pretend that it's true, that he has some wizardry skills here and he's basically making a computer sing through writing a whole bunch of C++. Number one, show that off. That's pretty cool. The way that he describes it is always pretty vague. Like, we have this email here. So here, he says, hi, this is to, I'm not sure what studio or something. I'm not sure who he's contacting here. But anyways, it's like a game studio or something. I think he's trying to pitch his skills to someone. Thank you for reaching out and considering me for this opportunity. I'm excited about the prospect of working with your studio and contributing to your project. The offer of $380 per track, which is insane, is appreciated. It's insane when we consider that it's fucking AI music. And I'm interested in learning more about the specifics of the role and your expectations. As you might know, I produce my music using a custom system called Digital Fusion. This system integrates Audacity, OpenVino AI, IE Core API, and custom C++ scripts. Again, he doesn't really clarify on what those scripts are, which I have meticulously developed over the years. Due to its complexity, here's the bullshit, due to its complexity and uniqueness, it cannot be taught to others, making me a true solo artist. What do you mean it cannot be taught to others? This is horseshit. This is literal horseshit. But the truth is that it's probably pretty simple. Digital Fusion allows me to write scripts akin to sheet music. Oh, that's the one that I wanted to pull out here. That's really the quote that I was looking for. He calls it the same as sheet music. But like, if we look at this, can we go back to this one here? Like, if we look down here, you can see down here where it's just like, okay, here's the track title, the instruments. I don't know what the V2, V3, V9, V1. I guess that's maybe like maybe the name of the library that he's activating. Voices, and then just I assume he wants like a choir but first of all, that's probably not how you would write it. Hang on a second. This makes no fucking sense. This just struck me just now. This makes no fucking sense. This is not musical in any way. It would not make any sense even if you're a programmer who's writing code to make music. You would probably want to define a determined length. Music is music because of determined lengths, right? Like, we have patterns, but patterns can only exist because of the time between each beat. You would not just say This is fucking nonsense here, unless that's how the library is labeled. In which case, how do you fucking remember space space and then down here we have this more fucking nonsense. Voice 12.3 right. This is and then he goes into instruments like here again, but not like, if this were, none of this makes sense for music. You wouldn't just be mashing the A and H key, because that doesn't fucking make sense. You need a determined amount of time. Or if you don't need a determined amount of time, if you wanted to be random, that would probably be a fucking function of your fucking software. You'd probably type in random value between here and here. Either way, it still needs to know some time length, because music works in time. This is bullshit. We're looking at bullshit in front of our faces. Let's face it, even if this was, is there a scroll bar in this picture? Damn. Does it say how many lines? Lines, 86. 86. There's 86 lines. No. And we're on 44? No. There's no fucking way, dude. We'll be generous here. We'll be generous. And we'll say that the song starts, nice voice crack, here on 42. We'll say that it starts here on 42. There are 86 lines. That means there's 44. There's 44 more lines for the song. There's no way. There's no fucking way 44 lines of this fucking gibberish here is making a whole fucking 2-3 minute long song. It's so stupid. There's nothing sheet music like about this. Sheet music is not fucking 44 lines. Sorry, we had to analyze that for a minute, because this whole thing where he says his scripts are akin to sheet music, it's the biggest piece of bullshit I have ever seen written in an email. Turtlebox, we can actually read his response here. Before OP goes, it's not AI. Let me make an offer. I will directly PayPal you $1,200 if you provide actual evidence you composed this entire track in Audacity. He does, however, show AI music being generated, which was the most incriminating thing. He did actually scam some people on music, and while many of his songs that he had posted were actually for free, he did them for free, thankfully. He did, however, have a commission thread where you could commission him to make a piece for you, and a piece of music for you. And I think this is the scummiest fucking thing that he could do, because nowhere in the post did he ever claim that it was AI. He didn't even use this digital fusion and blah 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 whatever bullshit. He didn't put those things. He didn't start talking about these tools, these APIs or whatever that he's using, until people started calling him out. And I guess he might have just assumed, oh, well, people don't know what these fucking tools are, and they're not going to look it up, so I'll just sound smart if I say I'm using them, and no one will look into it any further. So he was scamming people out of their money for AI-generated music, where he never claimed it. And the prices were fair, I would say. They were pretty fair, but they were also in line with some of the other musicians who were offering their services for RPG Maker. Of course, he also had the silly fucking pricing of, it was priced by second. But I guess this is why he was charging by the second, because he could type in the exact second value, which is weird for musicians. Most musicians charge by the minute. And they'll probably round down or up depending how close they are to the next minute. So charging per second is certainly weird, but it was like 3 cents. No, what was it? It was 3.5 cents per second, which is sort of funny because what happens if it lands on an odd number of seconds? I mean, I assume he would just fucking round up or down, but it's still funny. Like, why even bother specifying the half second? Why even charge per second? You owe me a hay penny, dear sir. Boy, I haven't seen a hay penny in the past century. I made myself laugh. I think I'm a pretty funny guy sometimes. I jokingly said, man, I'd love to hire you for 2 seconds. Gosh, maybe in my budget, I might be able to stretch it out to 3 seconds, but I don't know. I'm really pushing it from 3 seconds. I mean, he opened himself up to that. Like, anyone could go in there and be like, hey, I want a 3-second song. Please hook me up for 5-second song. One reason why originally I didn't think it was AI is because actually it was really shitty. The thing is that AI tends to produce pretty, like, I don't know what to call it. It's pretty like pop polished, radio polished music, right? Yeah, AI usually makes agreeable music. Like, it's usually fine. Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. So his stuff was just really bad. For example, I did mention, oh, nice to have you here, Mr. Orc. I did mention that he did a lot of, like really like soft piano stuff, very pretty. And then it's just like all of a sudden you have these soft notes and then it's just that one random note that's just like all of a sudden 127 velocity. And then everything else is at a beautiful 60. So, yeah, that was one of the things that had stuck out to me. There's a couple of songs that just sound mixed really, really poorly. Almost as if, it didn't even sound like, it's not just the mix, it almost sounded like there was 2 different songs that had just been like stacked on top of each other. It sounded just really bad. To get us back on track here, like I said, he was charging money for his music, and he unfortunately did scam at least one known person. Here we have Graybard, who said, so I purchased music from him. He's a friend on my Discord now, and he swears he's legit. But as a game dev who's been part of this community for a while, I'm concerned about using his music in my game now. When I asked him, did you use AI to make my music and all the other tracks you've been promoting? He replied, you have 2 ways you can use it. Tap into libraries directly with your own code and music so it writes it perfectly using the prompt. If you notice, I put the file location in the prompt and the seed I created. That's part of my music system, and it's ungodly difficult to explain. Or you can just use the prompt and put in stuff like 70s music. I create things directly with my builds as if I was using a DAW. As if I was using a DAW. But you're not. You're not, are you now? To make them. Nobody will ever understand because... No, I think people will understand. Because they don't use or know my custom system. I know Graybard is like part of the community, right? Does anyone have his contact? Maybe we can reach out to him right now. Well, I'll check back in on Discord to see if he replies to me. But anyways, I sent him a message now, and we'll see if we can see that file. So I will be honest, I don't understand composing music. This is back to Graybard now. I'll be honest, I don't understand composing music. But it sounds to me like he possibly used some music he's created, but has AI help revise it. Also, he says, oh wait, I think I understand what he's saying. So he actually didn't compose the music himself. He told the AI how he wanted it to sound, tweaked the prompt, and the AI composed a song. So essentially, I could have paid for an AI music service to compose what he did for me myself, right? Yeah, basically. This was right down here. this was Morte Eternal himself, but like I said, he has scrubbed himself completely from the internet. There have been a few other ports that we saw floating around. I will say, although it was Turtlebox who did sort of, or not sort of, he was the one that kind of blew the lid off this whole thing, thanks to his challenge. There have been some other like unfounded speculation that's been circling. I'm not sure who kind of started circling them around, if it was Turtlebox himself or if it was other people, but they were saying that he's made $11,000 off of his AI generated music. As far as I can tell, there's no receipts of this. My boots on the ground and I had done some research on this topic, but we're not able to find any evidence of it other than Reddit posts claiming that he had made $11,000. So I don't know how true that is. In fact, I'm inclined to believe that it's not true. I think, thankfully, he did not actually scam too many people. I think because he was having trouble making money through his commissions thread, that he kept adjusting the prices and stuff like that. Another claim I've seen circulating around as well is that the whole claim of him being like a musician of 20 years of experience and his whole identity apparently was stolen from another artist. So there's a real artist who is that person that Morte has just assumed. However, once again, me and my boots on the ground could not find any evidence of this. As AI continues to progress, I think it's going to become harder and harder to discern the truth from the lies. Basically, all this shit is just making the water so much more murkier. And I honestly think that's probably one of the scarier parts of AI. The worst of the situation is that truth, whatever the truth is, it's getting harder and harder to determine. I believe I have also fallen victim to an AI scam. I don't know if you can call it a scam because I fortunately didn't actually pay any money. I also have no evidence for this, so I don't even want to say the dude's name. Because I don't want to falsely accuse him of something. But there was a dude I had reached out to for getting some help with a song because, you know, I know all the music production stuff, but I don't really know the stuff that comes like with music theory and stuff. And I was working on a jazz song. I've been working on this jazz song for a long time. Well, working on it. I've basically just kind of shelved it because I don't know how to do it, how to make it. But as a result, you know, I'd reached out to this other musician about getting some help with it. And he said, yeah, sure, I'll be happy to help. And so I basically gave him what I would consider like the keys to the kingdom. You know, I gave him all the MIDI files and stuff for how to like compose music for fiddle, so he could take that and hopefully make the song that I was looking for. As well as, of course, I gave him that song that I had as well. You know, I give him more than enough information, and he came back and he's like, okay, well, I have this song here, and there's just some weird things about it. First of all, he came back pretty quickly. I think it was within maybe only 1 or 2 days. The other weird thing is I gave him like I just rendered out what I'd already written for the song so far. And so he included that at the beginning, just what I'd written, and then transitioned into his own original part. And the transition between the two parts was really fucking rough and awkward. And then I had said, oh, hey, that sounds pretty good, but, you know, what you had written doesn't really include, like, the fiddle motif very much in it. So I'd really like you to include the fiddle motif in it as well. So he's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And I had actually made this request a couple of times because I think he gave me a couple of different drafts as well. And I had said, hey, please include the fiddle motif some more. I like what you're doing, but I want to hear the fiddle motif in it. But he never was able to include it. And eventually, like on like the third time I'd asked him to do it, he just kind of ghosted me. So I don't know. These are all different signs that make me think that he was probably using AI generation as well. Fortunately, he was just doing it for free. That was even his offer. That was even the offer he was making. He's like, hey, I'm just doing this for free to practice my chops. So it's like, sure, no problem. If it's free, then no big deal. Point is these scams are going to become more and more frequent as time goes on. I don't think there's really anything that can be done about it, honestly. Pandora's box has been opened on AI. It's been open on AI for a while now. It's been a year or more since it really kind of hit the mainstream, and we are really starting to feel those kind of effects as we see more and more people use it to scam people, to fake their personality, to, I don't know, do all sorts of different things to basically, again, make the waters murky on what's truth and lies. So, okay, I'm not going to be... I guess I'm not going to be tuning out of the... Oh, so great. He's right here. I was typing the message and he's already here. Okay. Hey, Graybard. You've kind of missed the whole story. So here's the song. So Wrath of Wood, good news. You can finally hear what his AI music sounds like. Let me just download it real fast. Here we go. I hope it's awful. Thanks to actually Graybard, as well as there's Turtlebox on Reddit. Anyways, yeah, let's hear that other song. So I will say, yeah, that song that he had sent was pretty basic. This is the thing with a lot of his stuff, is that it was pretty basic, and this is why I was saying that, like, it to me felt so basic that it wouldn't take very long to just make on your own. I'm hearing some of the AI noise in this one. But I don't know if I would be able to, like, I hear it because I know it's AI. But, like, if I didn't know this was AI, I might just think it's just a noisy track. Hand noise is kind of whack. What the fuck? Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. You can see it in the spectrum here. This is also why I was full screening the spectrum. You can see, like, sorry, it's all the way over here at the edge, but you can see, like, this is supposed to be a tail. This was like a drum hit right here, but you can see this noise doesn't really trail off properly for like a drum hit. It should be, I don't know, more. It shouldn't, like, it shouldn't nosedive like that. This is because of the noise that's being generated. Let's rewind it some more. Dude, the fucking noise is going nuts here. Yeah, there's like no fade out transients. Yeah, like you can see the peaks here are just so much cleaner compared to over here, which are just super noisy. So anyways, there we go. Good idea, Orc. There's a nice little comparison between the two. Yeah, the fallout of all of this stuff that happened with Turtlebox and all this news coming out, I've kind of hinted at it, but yeah, for sure he's completely scrubbed himself off the internet, saying his itch page was deleted, his game dev market, he couldn't delete the game dev market, that still exists, but he's deleted all of the albums that he had for sale there. His YouTube has been scrubbed, which is not mentioned here, and his account was deleted on Reddit too. He deleted it. It was not banned. Here's Greybard in the chat. Yo, what up, Greybard? Saying that apparently he was already messaging Greybard about deleting everything. So yeah, man, I'm sorry you got caught up in this. It sucks. This is kind of what my conclusion to all this topic was about, is that it's just going to get harder and harder to kind of determine these things, and it's just basically all AI has done has made us more and more distrustful of each other. There's also signs that he was not making a lot of money off of this. To be honest, he's kind of an idiot. He was not very smart about how to make money off of this. He had a commission thread and also a request thread. And the request thread was basically, I'll make music for you for free for your game. And the commission thread was, you'll pay me and I'll make music for your game. The problem is that everyone just went over to his request thread and got free music, because why wouldn't you? Why would you pay for it when you can get it for free? And then he's over there in his commissions thread like, no, business isn't doing so well. What I was going to do is I was going to actually be nice and be like, hey, I don't know how much you care about my opinion, but I think it's not a good idea to offer the same service but for free if you want to make money. But fortunately, for some reason, I honestly don't know why, the dude fucking hated me. I don't know why. I guess he felt threatened because he knew I was like a real musician. So maybe he felt threatened. I didn't have the opportunity to tell him that, hey, maybe you shouldn't be offering your services for free if you want to make more money doing what you're doing. I am so glad. Thank God for paranoia. The last song he did for me was done in about 30 minutes. Holy shit, the balls on him. And that's when I was finally like, sus. And then he was exposed the next day. Yeah. Dang, he got too comfortable. I don't know. I feel like that's really kind of covered everything that I wanted to talk about. I really appreciate Mr. Greybard, you coming in here and, you know, filling us in and sharing the music too. Thanks so much for that. If life has taught you anything, I hope it has taught you that being fair, being honest, being truthful, having all of the valuable virtues that are, well, valued by society, get you nowhere in life. If you want to be successful in life, be a liar.